Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. You're watching Newsroom. I'm your host, Khalid. But today is the 29th of March 2021, and these are the stories that we will be talking about during the course of the show. The segment, ladies and gentlemen, of the day is about the visit of Bangladesh, to Bangladesh, in fact, of Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India. There were huge protests following this visit of the Indian Premier to Bangladesh. It did spread after his visit as well. There have been attacks on Hindu temples. A train in eastern Bangladesh have been attacked, and of course violence has spread across the country in the wake of this visit. We'll be discussing that in our second segment. And now let's come to our second segment, ladies and gentlemen, that is about Narendra Modi's visit to Bangladesh on the eve of the Golden Jubilee celebrations in that country and all the riots that have ensued following Narendra Modi's visit, in which mobs have attacked Hindu temples and a train as well. More in the following report, then we'll return with our guest.
Hundreds of protesters attacked Hindu temple and a train in eastern Bangladesh as violence spread across the country in the wake of a visit by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Local police and doctors have said that at least 11 protesters have been killed since Friday in clashes with the police. Modi arrived in Dhaka on Friday to mark the 50th anniversary of Bangladesh's nationhood. Dozens of people were injured in the densely populated capital Dhaka as police fired tear gas and rubber bullets at the protesters. Several government offices, including the Land Office and the government-sponsored Music Academy, were set on fire, and several Hindu temples were also attacked. Protesters used electric poles, timber and sandbags to block roads, and police retaliated with rubber bullets and tear gas. Hundreds of protesters.
To talk more about that, we've been joined by geopolitical expert Adnan Qaiser. Adnan Qaiser Sahab, thank you very much to have joined us. Adnan Qaiser Sahab, Narendra Modi's visit to Bangladesh and the violence that has ensued, was that something that could be predictable? Was it something that people thought could happen?
First of all, Omar, thank you very much for inviting me at your program.
It's
a great privilege. And Assalamu alaikum to all your viewers. So understand, first of all, this had to happen. The way the things were proceeding, first of all, try to see it in a historical perspective. First of all, the democracy in Bangladesh is evolving. It has gone through its teething phases, and now at the eve of 50 years of its culmination, there is it is facing a kind of a dichotomy. It has a secular constitution at one stage, but on the other hand, they have repressed the Islamic parties. We have seen the Jamaat-e-Islami. There had been sham political cases against them, and some of the leaders were hanged. So there was an unrest among the masses, so which had to come out in one way or another at some stage. And secondly, if you see the present state of violence, people are talking about the Gujarat riots, which took place in 2001, and in which 1,000 or so Muslims, innocent Muslims, were butchered when Mr. Modi was the chief minister of Gujarat. So all these things, they culminated at this event, and so there had been an unrest in Bangladesh, and apart from that, try to understand that the minorities, BJP and Mr. Modi's policies have been looked down upon, unfortunately. Although there has been a revival of Hindutva or Hindu nationalism in India.
Well, Adnan Sahab, the thing is that at one time also we saw a lot of apprehensions from the Bangladeshi side against India. But of late we see a warming of ties between the two countries. What would you attribute that to? Is it the continued pressure by India on Bangladesh? Is it some other factor that is pushing Bangladesh to go for warmer ties with India, despite the fact that there are certain animosities that Bangladesh, of course, attributes towards India?
So first of all, again, try to see in the historical perspective. First of all, what had happened, Bangladesh had grievances against Pakistan, rightly or wrongly, whatever we can say, but it was part of Pakistan, East Pakistan, so it had grievances. So, it tried to become warmer towards India. considering it a bigger country and to attach it. But now a China factor has been introduced recently. If you see that, in the BRI, the Belt and Road Initiative of China, apart from CPEC, there is an important artery which is being made or constructed, which is called BCIM, Bangladesh, China, India, and Myanmar, which is passing through too. And now you see there has been a change of thought. Previously, Bangladesh used to look towards India for all its political, geopolitical salvation and financial aid and assistance. But now, there is another gentleman in the block, which is China, and which is providing financial assistance. And Bangladesh has a choice now to look for alternate avenues towards China and see. So now Bangladesh is also asserting itself in a new world order. And now related to Samuel Huntington's theory of clash of civilizations, after the World War, end of Cold War, he had propounded that now the cultures, the civilizations would be looking towards their own indigenous civilizations. So we saw BJP's Hindutva or Hindu civilization. China is looking towards its own Confucius civilization. Muslims in Pakistan, Turkey, elsewhere, as well as in Bangladesh, are also looking towards their own Muslim orientation and civilization.
So do we look towards a clash of civilizations that has been predicted?
Clash of Civilization. I brought this book for you to show it to your. This is a second stage of Clash of Civilization, that dawn of a new world order. Now all these civilizations are because there are now small power centers around the world. So now everyone is looking towards its own indigenous civilization, which is now in a kind of a clash. And now what is happening presently in Bangladesh is kind of it is like anti-Hinduism on the streets of Bangladesh, which the resentment which they are showing, not against Mr. Modi in particular, but again his hegemonic mindset of Hinduism mindset. I had written a paper about 2 years ago on it was called the Hindutva itch, the India's perverse strategic thought. So India had set aside its secular thought, and now it's moving towards
that Hindu itch. I mean, I would really like to elaborate a little bit upon it. Is that the reason also that India has been pointing the fingers many a times in the past towards Bangladesh as far as fomenting Islamism, so-called the rise of Islam in Bangladesh as well? Forget about what it has been saying about Pakistan. Let's talk about Bangladesh as well. In the past, you must have read so many a time that India has pointed the finger at Bangladesh about so many different Islamist, so-called Islamist movements in Bangladesh.
Apart from that, this is one of the legitimate issues. But apart from that, if we see in a larger context, India had so many issues, friction issues. Farah barrage, which is on Ganges, which results into flooding and shortage of water in Bangladesh.
Tista River.
And then, apart from that, they have recently made a bridge which is connecting the Indian state with Bangladesh. But Bangladesh, as of today, apart from cordial and very convivial ties with India, does not allow trans-Bangladesh trade passage to the India's 7 states in the northeastern part of India. So, there are issues of friction, and obviously because of the BJP's policies.
Sir, if there are issues of friction, why hasn't the Bangladeshi leadership dealt with it properly? Because it understands what the thought process of its people are, especially the Muslim community, and there is a large Muslim community in Bangladesh.
Understandable. So, you have to go with the masses. So, Sheikh Hasina Wajid is a very, very prudent politician. She has, I think this is the 3rd or 4th time when she has become the Prime Minister of Bangladesh. So she understands the pulse of the people.
Right.
She understands where the Bangladesh people, what are their aspirations, and she is obviously projecting that. So, Mr. Modi at one stage, he had, propagated that he was part of the Bangladesh liberation movement and apart from that thing. But now the things have changed. Now a new orientation has come in Bangladesh, among the people of Bangladesh, that, their future does not lie with India. And perhaps they have to look either towards Pakistan, which is a brotherly Muslim country, and you have seen cordial ties, warm relationship between the Prime Minister Imran Khan had a very, very warm and convivial telephone conversation with Sheikh Hasina Wajid, the Prime Minister of Bangladesh. So, things are improving, and Bangladesh is also looking towards China for alternate trade routes, because, it's the geo-economics now which matters. So everyone is integrated.
What about these mob attacks now that have happened in Bangladesh? How should, in your point of view, Bangladeshi government should deal with these in a manner that pacifies that community that has been solely against India and Indian leaders pushing the influence inside of Bangladesh?
So, Bangladesh at one stage had to reckon that, it's an independent sovereign country. It cannot act as a stooge or sorry to use the word, a satellite state or a vassal state of India. So it has to stand on its own feet, and India and Bangladesh is on course towards becoming a middle income country. And it is viewed with a lot of respect in Europe, in North America. I live in North America, and I know that the garments of which come from Bangladesh are of very high quality, and Bangladeshi people are respected, and that's why all those trade groups, they protect the Bangladeshi labor. So the point is this, that Bangladesh is asserting itself as a sovereign, independent country, which is not looking toward the clutches of India, and stand on its own and reorient its own geopolitical and geostrategic policies in the Bay of Bengal and in South Asia.
When you speak of, finally, my last question to you, geopolitical and geostrategic affiliations, when you talk of those, how should Pakistan reorient itself? And how should Pakistan react to what has been happening in Bangladesh? Should it stand neutral? Should it go on to help the Bangladeshi government if it needs the help, if it requests for any help? Or should the OIC intervene as well? What is your point of view on that?
So the point is this, that, we should not interfere into the internal matters of any country.
All right.
No other country should have the right to interfere into ours, and we should not. But at the same time, our hearts and minds, our sentiments with the people of Bangladesh. You must understand, whatever has happened in the past has been a past. Every country has a past. But now we have to move forward. We have to look towards our future. Our collective destiny are intertwined. We are Muslims. Our hearts, we have one culture, one religion, and obviously, we have to look towards each other. But at the same time, we should not tell or advise them what to do or what. They are sensible enough to decide on their own. And what they have done to Mr. Modi, they have just...
the reaction has come, and it is very strong, and it is very apparent on what the Muslim community in Bangladesh wants.
Exactly, because of BJP's policies, and which have hurt the Muslim majority in Bangladesh, as well as Muslim minority they have seen the Citizen Rights Bill, which came, whatever they have been doing to the Kashmiri Muslims in Kashmir. And apart from that, the resurgence in Hinduism and those Ghar Wapsi and love jihad and Indian policies against the Muslim minority. So the Muslim minority are to be protected. And Bangladeshis are aware of what atrocities and what repression has been unleashed on the Muslims in India. So it is whatever has emerged or outcome on the streets of Bangladesh, it's a representation, it's a depiction. It had to come one day or not.
All right. Thank you very much, Adnan Qaiser, to have joined us, to have shown us this book on geopolitics and the clash of ideologies, Dawn of a New Order by Rain Mullison. Thank you very much to have shown
My
that.
pleasure.
And we'll be, of course, keeping in touch with you to talk more about as this situation develops, and, of course, more about the region as well. Thank you very much.
It's
sir.
a great privilege to be with you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.